the only governor, yeah? The only governor at the sea level. Welcome, Bwana Governor. Thank you.
Sasa, allow me to be, because some very interesting questions were asked, allow me to be able to quickly answer them. Nyingine nitajibu Kiswahili tuweze kuelewana. Nyingine nijibu Kiswahili tuweze kuelewana. I believe the question that was asked is modernization of the skill sets. I think this is a conversation that definitely the departments have already agreed. We will be discussing these matters with yourselves. The other one, nimeulizwa ni habari ya voting cards. I think we need a commission in place first. We have to have a commission in place. I think the law has been signed. Tuombe Mungu tupate commission so that more people can be registered as voters and be able to get the services that they require. There are some things that are beyond me. The issue of model training, I'm afraid I'm far from being a model. Siwezi kujua what are the requirements. But I know we have a program, ile Skills Mitaani, that is coming up. And in the Skills Mitaani program, which is actually going to be tackling and handling, nimesikia wengine waliuliza, why are we only doing university, not TVET? The Skills Mitaani program will also bring on board the TVET students as well, which will cover the issues that are there. And in the Skills Mitaani, it is not just vocational training, but it is also, it isn't just TVET alone, but it is, we want to give people recognition of prior learning. That means there are people who have been very, very good boda riders, but they don't have a driving license. There are people who are very, very good in hairdressing, but they don't have the certificate if they get a job that requires them that certificate. There are people who are good electricians, but they don't have the necessary licenses and permits. So we will now be able to do that in this phase of the Skills Mitaani program. I asked, and I want to state here, I have given instructions. Every student who is meant to be having a food handling certificate, the county government will waive those fees with immediate effect. I think that would help you. And what I want, the chief officer will notify the county secretary. You write to all the institutions that are offering catering services of any form that the county government will waive the food handling fees for students, for the students. I was also asked about the issue of waste management. Maybe you didn't understand me. I'm not waiting for money from national government. Nikianza kwenda njia hiyo, tutazeeka hapa na tunasubiri pesa. We have to be innovative. I'm only waiting for a letter. By law, Treasury has to be able to authorize that to allow the county government to deal with individuals who are doing this and this, especially after the bid did not go through. So that is what it is that we are waiting for. Tukisema tunangoja national government watupatie do, si ya leo. Two, what we are doing right now, everything needs research. And the issue of solid waste management, there's a full research that was done by the European Investment Bank. It's a very, very detailed research on how we're going to handle this, and we will be rolling this out. It is something technical in nature, but we will be rolling it out in phases once we've been able to get the necessary letters. The issue of ICT hubs, well, I think right now national government already has a program. We need to see where they will reach with that program. Let's not try and duplicate things. Because I know national government is saying that they want to put ICT hubs, I think, in every ward. I know for a fact when I was a member of parliament, I put up, I think, were there 4 or 5 ICT hubs when I was a member of parliament. But I'm a believer that let's not waste resources. Let's, if they are doing it, well and good. If we feel that they're going to slack, then let us pick that conversation up. Well, I think that will be fair for taxpayers. Then lastly, the conversation that the good gentleman aliongea mpaka jasho ikamtoka. When I went to Swahili Port, we didn't launch the app. Let's just get that clear. When I went to Swahili Port, we mentioned that we will be doing this app. It was a concept birth. And I'll explain to you why we have not launched it. There's also data protection. When you upload these things and I make it too open, kuna information yenu that is inside there. Maybe what you need to now realize what I have done We have written to the data protection. We have been certified as the county government that we are actually certified that we can be able to handle data. So by law, we are now within. We are going to set a date to launch this. What I want to do is I've asked the Department of Finance to start again. The word that I want to use is let's think as if there's no box. What we want to do, we've not loaded. We've not even loaded any people who want jobs, because the first one I would have done is the County Public Service Board. But because the app has not been launched, but we will be doing, and I'm glad that you actually know that that app exists. It's the Fursa app. But amongst the ideas that I have is we need to come up with a formula so that it is also not misused. For people who employ our young people, companies that employ our young people will have a possibility of reducing their cost of street board advertising, reducing their SBPs and so forth, so that instead of you paying us, pay the young person as a job. And then next year you continue. There are many ideas that we are trying to come up with, but we will be doing the launch properly. And when we do it, we will invite everyone here. The other issue that was asked about jobs, actually the county government has primarily hired medics. We have not hired anyone else. In fact, the only advert that has come out right now is for inspectorate, and even that they've not hired yet. They're still in the process, because you imagine you want 200 slots and you get 10,000 applications or even more. But I've heard you on the Mombasa Yangu program. The Mombasa Yangu program is a marvelous. There's nothing more important than giving people hope. The Mombasa Yangu program, one thing that I've given instructions is that every part of Mombasa needs to have representation. That means in every one of the 30 wards, they need to have an equal amount of people picked. You have raised to me that there's the issue to do with how people are getting it, but also you have to remember, we increased it to 3,000. Those who applied Mombasa Yangu, if I'm not mistaken, were almost 50,000? There were 50,000. So you can imagine it is very, very difficult. But it does not mean that others did not get. Maybe in future what we might want to do, and it might be the best, maybe. Tukifanya hii program tena, let's do an open ballot. Watu wakuje kwa uwanja kama hii, tushike, tuchukue, jina ya nani ilitoka, huyo ndo alipata nafasi. We might be forced to do that eventually, because it is impossible. As the governor, I came up with this idea of Mombasa Yangu, not that I needed employees. No. But I need to remove people off this. By the way, watu waliona mini cheese inafanya hii program. So hii national government is emulating. And when I did this program, every time we do it, rate of crime reduces. So it's a beautiful program. Tusiweke doa kwa sababu ya hii moja mambili. The other issue that was asked was about water. Who has been fired? The challenge we have with water is only one. We don't have water. Hear me out. We are surrounded by water, but we don't have water that we can be able to consume. Our source of water comes from Kilifi County. Our source of water comes from Kwale County. Wenzetu lazima washibe maji before it comes to us. Out of a demand that we currently have of 200,000 cubic meters, we're only getting 40,000. Now, the challenge that is there is how do you give that 40,000? And even that 40,000 coming to Mombasa, sometimes we have another challenge. This is why I feel very agitated and frustrated dealing with national government entities. Sometimes pipe ya coast water, which is not in my domain. Pipe ya coast water ikitoboka, maji haiingii Mombasa. So now that becomes another problem. Now, again, I told you that I could afford kununua ile lita ya maji. So the challenge we have is Mombasa has no water source. We have no river. We have to depend on water from Baricho. We have to depend on water from Kwale. Maji inaingia kutoka sehemu za Tiwi inakuja. We have to depend on water from sehemu za Voi. and every single person. Then if anything happens to the line along the way, it is a cost water, and cost water, which is a constitutional argument for another day, but even that needs to now be devolved. Cost water needs to be devolved to counties so that we can be able to take responsibility of the things that we are doing. So I hope that has cleared the air on the issue of water. The other issue that you asked about the trucks, actually very soon there's going to be an advert. I'm selling all those old trucks. They're dead assets. What we are doing in this budget for this year, we're coming up with proper compactors. The trucks that were there served their purpose, served their time, but now we're coming up with compactors, and we're coming up with other ways. You asked me a question, and I love this, and I think it is going to be the last one that I'm going to. What is going to be my legacy? There's no richer legacy than people. Look at the investment that I have done in all of you. There's no richer legacy that I will leave behind than a people that have been empowered. Everything that I do when I wake up in the morning, this year is the year that we have put in budgets for matters of infrastructure. But of what use is an infrastructure when I have a dying population? Of what use is an infrastructure if the people cannot be able to use that particular infrastructure? And that is the reason why we invested so heavily on our health for the poor. That is why we invested so heavily in our education. By the way, something else that we are going to do, and we've put it in this budget. I know sometimes I get accused that I'm investing too much in people, but I would rather get accused that I'm investing too much in people and leave a people that are going to be happy. Leave a people that are going to be empowered. Right now, Mombasa might be the only county where we are coming up with a way, our ECDs in Mombasa, the children will be going for our 100% free to school. 100% free. We've put it in this budget. The concept is very simple. The county government will pay the capitation. I'm doing this realizing that we live at a time, and I think that is my end. Thank you all very much. I look up to the challenge of being hosted on Space. Asanteni sana na mbarikiwe.
Your Excellency, I beg for your indulgence for just a minute to receive these things on behalf. Kindly, for our guests who came with vehicles who will be using the gate A, you are given a visitor's tag. Ensure that you surrender it at the gate, please. And as we wind up, we will close with the national anthem, please. Aya, let's remain upstanding for the national anthem, please, so that we can close.
DJ, national anthem. Please, kila mtu tunyamaze. Mr. and Ms. Tum, wakuja wapige picha na governor tafadhali. And everybody, let's stay at an alert for the national anthem. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Miss Tum, please. Miss Tourism, please. Thank you.